Good day everyone. My name is Kizzy Villablanca Sapayani from BSL Science 1A. So for today's video, I'm here to tackle the Module 3 in Purposive Communication, which is the verbal and nonverbal communication. As far as we know that communication is defined to a sender and receiver, and it's also help us to communicate one person to another person. So, number 1, difference between verbal and nonverbal communication. So, in verbal communication, it's the words and sound that came out of our mouth when we are speaking or spoken words to exchange information, emotion, and thoughts. While the nonverbal communication, it's conveying and exchanging messages without the use of spoken words. Other hand, nonverbal communication is the sign and messages that we communicate using things like body language, gesture, and facial movements. For example, waving a friend or pointing to a restaurant menu item. So, number 2, explain the different types of nonverbal communication. So, in nonverbal communication have 11 different types. So, let's start with number 1, appearance. It is participants establishes their social identity. For example, if you are yellowish skin or singkit na eyes, you are considered as Korean. Or if you are flat nose, morena skin, or tall or short guy, you are considered as a Filipino. Number 2, artifacts are the articles that we select to adorn our clothing that helps convey strong messages through nonverbal communication. For example of artifacts is store of Gucci, Louis Vuitton, or Mongo or Adidas, etc., that only the rich can afford to buy from that expensive store. Number 3, hands. In whenever you move your head or hands to express or emphasize an idea. For example, if you're raising your hand to volunteer or to answer the question that teacher asks you or give the question to your seatmate. So, number 4, color. It represents to the sign or show our emotion or identity to people by wearing the color shirt. For example, in Valentine's Day, if you are single, you must wear a color black, or if you are in love, you must wear a color red to represent that you are in love with. Number 5, chronomics is the rule of time or observant of time in communication. It is one of the several subcategories to emerge from the study. For example, if you have a lot of doing and activities, you must put a time management to answer that all. Like in one subject, you must apply 2 hours or 1 hour. Number 6, haptics. It refers to the way in which people and animals communicate and interact via the sense of touch. For example, touching your animals, touching your things, or touching your device. Number 7, kinesis. It came from the root word kinesis, which means movement, or refers to the study of hand, arm, body, and face movements. Number 8, the eyes. Play a role in nonverbal communication, with such things as looking, staring, and blinking being important cues. For example, if you see your crush, you must blink him or her to make some killing. Number 9, proxemics is a form of nonverbal communication or body language in which messages are conveyed from one person to another person by the changing space that separates them during a conversation. For example, 2 of them are prepared to sit at the front or back of the classroom, and wherever they sit near to or far from the head of the table at a meeting. Number 10, posture. It refers to the way people hold themselves while at work, in social gathering, or in public places. Um, Number 10, facial expression. Facial expression is an important form of nonverbal communication because it is very essential form of communication between human and animal species. They can be used to convey a wide range of emotion, including happiness, sadness, anger, fear, excitement, or etc. Number 3. Explain the 4 types of verbal communication. Verbal communication includes sound, words, language, and speech. So, this form of communication is further classified into 4 types. Number 1, intrapersonal communication. This form of communication is extremely private and restricted to ourselves. It includes the silent conversation we have to ourselves, wherein we juggle role between the sender and receiver who are processing our thoughts and actions. Number 2, interpersonal communication. This form of communication takes place between two individuals, and it does a one-on-one conversation, where the two individuals involved will swap the roles of sender and receiver in order to communicate in a clearly manner. Number 3 is small group communication. This type of communication can take only when there are more than 2 people involved. It is a number of people will be small enough to allow each participants to interact and converge with the rest. For example, press conference, board meetings, and team buildings or team meetings. Number 4, public communication. This type of communication takes place when an individual addresses a large gathering of people. For example, election campaign, organization, fraternity, and public speeches. Number 4, write a story based on the viewed video. So, according to the video that I watched about classic Mr. Bean, he wants to go to a library rather, and he wants to read, but in library is not allowed to noise. So he slowly walked and went inside. And when the other man gave him a book, he immediately took it and looked at it. And when he read the book, he was amazed by it and quickly traced. Number 5, explain the 5 types of gesture. Number 1, emblems. Define deliberate movements of the body that are consciously sent and easily translated into speech. For example, saying hello, or saying goodbye, or saying it's okay. Number 2, illustrators. When you say the word big and stretch your hand out wide in front of you, or if you place your palm or thumbs up in front of you while you are making a. We use these types of gesture to add to the meaning of our words. Number 3, regulators are used to give feedback when conversing. For example, it may include head nods, short sound like okay, or etc. Number 4, affect display are defined body movements which reveal our affective or emotional state. For example, our facial expression, our body language, or our voice, or we laugh or cry, or etc. Number 5, adapters. An adapter is a body motion used by people to adapt or adjust to a communication. It may be a stress-induced reaction such as a person who bites his nail, or who touch her foot, or finger or uses another repetitive body motion during the conversation.